Hello, welcome to the One I Have Spare Time podcast. My name is Frank. I'm wearing a red velvet pullover. No, not the cake, the K-pop group. In the news, I read an article. Well, because I don't watch the news. I read the article, but it's real news. It's reported from several valuable sources. I'm sorry, reputable, reputable sources. I like using words with more than three syllables. It makes me sound intelligent. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But we have a case of racism, a hate crime. Michael, um, you know, I have this mental block that if I know I'm pronouncing an Asian name, I'm just assuming I'm gonna say it wrong. but his but he's a Korean guy, okay? Michael Ree, and he's a Korean American. He lives in Lake Forest. It's the area of California, basically. This happened in California. Anyway, Michael Ray of Lake Forest attacked an Asian woman. So he's Korean. He attacked an Asian woman believing she was white in retaliation for the rise in hate crimes against Asians. Now, if that just isn't beautiful, I don't know what is. So a Korean guy attacks an Asian woman because he thought she was white, and he did this in retaliation of the rise in hate crimes against Asians. Life just doesn't get any better than this, right, guys? And basically, he she was in her car, uh, parked, in the carport behind her apartment complex, and so he walks up to her car with a gun. Um, he gets in the passenger seat, pushes her into the back seat. He I'm leaving out some of the details. Like the woman offered him her like wallet and stuff, and he's like, no, I'll get that later. And then he starts groping her, and then she starts yelling because there's someone else in the car garage, and she yells, "This guy has a gun, help!" And then the guy, Michael, gets out the car, like runs away, then runs to his car and drives home. Of course, because everything is on camera these days. So of course they had the car's license plate, had a perfect description of him, the whole nine yards. They go to his house, arrest him. It was a very very short process. Anyway, um, so oh, and it turns out it was a BB gun. It wasn't a real gun. It was a BB gun. Well, I mean, a BB gun's a gun, but it wasn't like a gun that'll, I guess, inch your life. It was a gun that'll, piss you off. But I don't know what to say about this one. And also like the sexual assault part. Like groping is considered sexual assault. So uh, it's like I don't know, like the mentality behind all this. Yeah, I'm gonna go out and cause okay, I'm an Asian. I'm Asian. I wake up. I'm pissed off. It's like all this Asian hate crime that's not really going on. Because the media is hyping this up. The rise in hate crime means that there was, I believe, I forgot the statistics. You have to look up the statistics from the FBI. Okay, it was something between like 4 and 8 hate crimes like last year. Okay, and now it's like 14 this year, and that is the spike. That's the rise in hate crime. So it's not an epidemic. Like, look up the FBI statistics of hate crimes against Asians. You have to use the FBI one, because the FBI one, it's it's not an epidemic. Now I don't know what the media is using, because according to the media, it's every two, it's every 2 seconds there's an Asian hate crime. So I mean, and we got to stop like believing every single thing the media says. But then once again, like, who says the FBI is but like I would tend to believe the FBI over the media when it comes to these statistics, because the statistics over the past 10 years, Asian hate crimes have been the lowest amongst all the other races. Now I would say Native American, but well, they're all at bars anyway. So yeah, like it's very overhyped. And then there's like, Asian Lives Matter marches. Like, I mean, I'm glad they're doing it, because it takes away from the Black Lives Matter. Because like I'm sick of Black Lives Matter. So like I'd rather have Asian Lives Matter. I'm just saying, but like no one's after you, Asians. No one's after you. Asians got it good. My wall, my walls are covered in Asians. Mostly Korean women, a few Japanese, a few Chinese, and a couple Thai. I mean, I like Korean pop, so I have a lot of Korean pop idols on my wall, and they consist of the races of mostly Korean, a couple of Japanese, and a couple Thai. I even got a BTS poster on my wall. I got some guys too. I got a card poster on my wall. Okay, like it's cool to be Asian, at least in America. I mean, like K dramas are all. I mean, like Asian culture in America is celebrated. People like it. As far as I know, I've never met someone, and I've known a lot of people in my life. So, and I've heard people talk about, I've heard people let their real feelings out. Like, I've met plenty of people that don't like Mexicans. I've met plenty of people that don't like white people. I've met plenty of people that don't like black people. I can tell you, I've never met someone who like hated Native Americans. I've never met someone who hated Asians. I'm not counting Vietnam vets. That's a different. Um, like how many times have I been drunk somewhere, or like just out somewhere with other people, on the types of drugs that just make them want to talk. So I've heard people like, talk some shit about other races. Okay, like I've been to plenty of bars where like I'm in a circle of a bunch of people, and they're just roasting black people, roasting Mexicans. Yeah, I know. What am I doing in the group? Well, I'm the one starting the conversation. But yeah, like I don't know. I've had plenty of Asian friends, and I remember well, I've talked about this before. Like one of my favorite people on the planet is Jennifer Kim. She's a Korean young lady. I've never heard her, because like, like we would talk all the time. I've never heard her once talk about Asian discrimination. I've never heard her once talk about she was discriminated, or her sister, or her parents, or well, whatever. So I just, like every Asian person I've known, and I've known a lot throughout my life, I've never heard one of them talk about being discriminated against because they're Asian. I've never heard anyone go like, "Yeah, this guy just ran up to me and said, 'F you, Asian,' then kicked me and ran away." Then I pulled out my ninja stars and killed him. So yeah, I don't know, but I just think it's crazy that this guy was like, you know what? I'm gonna go out, and I'm gonna beat up a white chick, because that'll make up for all the Asian hate that's going on. That makes no sense. That just makes no sense. Like, is this even real? This makes me think. Okay, because granted, I'm a logical person. So if you're committing a hate crime, which I think hate crime is a dumb term. I mean, isn't every crime a hate crime? I mean, I don't know. It's like if you're gonna go do something, I guess there's some hate behind it, or I don't know. Maybe you just saw meth and you wanna get another dime bag or whatever. But this guy is okay. This guy is either a product of um, the media brainwashing someone to making them think that there is an epidemic, because it's the same thing with like police shootings of black people. The media has the media has people convinced that there are police hunting minorities right now, but that's because of the media. The media it has people convinced this. Okay, just like I mean, like pick a topic that is just ridiculous. Like, for example, other countries influencing our elections. The media has pushed that other countries have influenced our elections, which is complete bullshit. And then there's proof that other countries have not influenced our elections, but they won't push that. Like, I believe it was someone associated with Stanford. There's been several people. So once again, you can look up Joe Rogan and election fraud, and like you'll get the full breakdown. But like it's not true. Other countries are not influencing our election, but the media will push that, and then it makes certain Americans not feel confident with our system, because if you got people thinking that other countries are affecting our government, that's going to weaken our country. But like the media, the media likes to tear us apart. The media likes to cause trouble. Okay, so racism, it's not as bad as the media portrays. Other countries controlling our election results, not even true. But it makes a hell of a headline, and then like it causes fear, so it increases ratings because more people are going to watch the news. But then it has bad results where you have people like this who are now compelled to get even with all the racism and hate crime by committing his own hate crime, even though he picked the wrong way. Like, how did. So you're telling me that he attacked this Asian lady, but he thought that she was a white. So you mean after held her at gunpoint, got into her car, and pushed her in the back seat, from all that you couldn't tell she was Asian? You didn't get a good look at the person that you were right next to accosting. So to me, this either this guy has really bad eyesight, and that's a whole nother thing because he's Asian, and you know how people say Asians can't see. So either because of his Asian eyes, he couldn't tell, or he's just lying. Because if he tells the cops, "Well, I thought it was a white woman. I'm just trying to make up for all the Asian hate crimes, so I'm gonna pick on a white person." Maybe he's just doing that to have a defense so he can like plea. "Well, Your Honor, when I robbed her, I thought she was white." Okay, okay, I'll let this slide. I'll see. Get out of here. Get out of here. Go eat some kimchi. It's I don't know, because here's the thing: he could be that stupid, but at the same time, it could just be made up because he's smart because he's Asian, he's conniving, he's scheming, he can't wait to get back to the rice paddy. He's got a rickshaw low. It's got a rickshaw with rims. Okay, yeah. The whole concept of this country is under attack from this wave of racism, and the police are hunting down minorities, and other countries control our elections. Those three narratives have to stop because it's just ruining the country. Those three things have to go away, and this is caused by the media. The media censoring one side of the political spectrum, that's got to stop too. Like all of these things just cause problems and more divisiveness, and this it's the media's fault. Media is really messing up, and people have to stop. Well, obviously, if people would stop, watching and supporting the media, like the stories like this would die down, and then the real stories would actually wouldn't get buried. It's a shame that some people think that other countries control our election results. Then what's the point of voting? See, is that's another thing. Are they trying to stop people from voting by saying stuff like, see, like that's real voter suppression. That's real voter suppression. But the media is trying to make you think having to show your ID to vote is voter suppression. That's not voter suppression. You have to show your ID to get a lot of things and do a lot of things, apparently. Not apparently. You just do. There, there are a lot of things where you need an ID. To purchase a gun, you need an ID. To buy alcohol, you need an ID. Is that racist? No. So, it doesn't make sense. When you apply for like a new job and you get hired, they need to copy your ID. Is that racist? No. You just have to show your ID. They need some information. So we need to change the narrative. The people with an IQ above shoebox need to change the narrative. We need to stop supporting divisive media. And we have to remember life can't be an echo chamber. If this guy actually was getting or being told real news, that there really isn't, you know, thousands of Asians every day being assaulted from a hate crime, if the media would stop like pushing that narrative, this guy would have never done what he did. If what he said is true. I've seen a few Asian Lives Matter rallies. I mean, not in person, because I have pets and I'm just afraid to take them out around that many Asians. But if that narrative wasn't around of thousands of Asians every day are getting beat up, this guy would have never been radicalized. I want to call it radicalization because he's literally been brainwashed. He's been brainwashed to the point where he's full of hate, and he's like, I gotta get revenge for all the hate crime going against my people. If that's even true, because he could have just said that to maybe get a lighter, um, whatever sentence, you know. Because he is Asian. He's probably smart and thought this up on the fly. If I just say I thought she was white, then maybe they'll let me go. Completely possible. Completely possible. But I don't know. I don't know. What do you think? I mean, because I would like to I would like to think the average person is not being brainwashed by all these crazy things that's been going on. But you never know. You never know. But anyway, you guys have a good one. I'll talk to you later.